Hey, it's Mark from dynamitestocks.com and stockpursuit.com and a Twitter account. I just wanted to do a quick video on the fly here because I saw some things that I forgot to cover yesterday, and I just wanted to go over what happened today. Just a video that's not staged. I'm just kind of looking at everything. Some of these for the first time, so I'll just share my thoughts with what I see on some of these ETFs and stocks. It looks like I actually missed a Supernova. I just found this AVGR just hit one of the Supernova scans I have. I must have missed it or not run that one. This one went from about 4 to 14 in like 3 days. So it's definitely Supernova territory there, and it had that first red day, and it didn't squeeze off the first red day, which they sometimes do, so it came down, and it very well is going to have some more downside, probably like another day, but that's definitely a short watch. This looks like it's got a lot of volume. I don't know if it has options or not, but that's one that I missed that I just found. And one of the other ones I found that I forgot to add to my watch list and even talk about was GLBS. I think this one's a shipper. It's going to double check that, but it broke out pretty good yesterday. Like, did like a high flag there, like a really nice red candle. Like, that's like an inside bar. The inside bar is where there's a big run day and then there's a consolidation red day, like a red candle, but it finishes like about halfway in the middle. So the shorts are in, but these can squeeze. I'm not exactly sure if it was a short squeeze, but it was pretty good volume. So looks like it's after earnings too. It basically just started moving on earnings. So this one hasn't done much. Like it probably has a past. It probably ran with shippers back in the old days when the shippers ran, but it's not as good a setup today as it was yesterday, or for Monday at least. But that was a heck of a day today. It's a really good range today, good candle. And yeah, it's definitely a marine shipper, dry bulk shipper. Yep, I was right. So that was like an outlier, really, like in these scans that I ran, because it was like one of the few stocks that had a really good chart going for it long. And I mean, you can see it broke out on the day that everything crashed, pretty much. So it's a lot of relative strength. Like, the relative strength's off the chart now. So this one I added to my long bias watch list. I kind of just find so many. Sometimes I find so many setups that I miss them too. Like, I totally forgot to add this to my watch list, but I added like 4 other stocks, or added, some old favorites back to my back on watch, like SIRI and JWN, and I found another solar stock too. This BEEM had a nice triangle too, just kind of like the JKS did. That's just like a really perfect triangle breakdown there, and it's going lower. And it tends to trend well when it's in breakdowns, like you see here. It just pretty much went straight down. Here it did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Almost like 13 days in a row, 13 trading days in a row. But that's just the story of solar stocks this year. They're just a mess. So I had that one to my watch list. I'm not sure if it has options though. That's a big deal for me, but I figured I'd share that one just in case people short and they have a broker that has good borrows. Because this one's it's a good breakdown setup too. If it just keeps breaking down, so it's got to break down below 704, and then it's a short. The JKS, I took profits in that one. I guess some people followed me on that one, and yeah, it was a heck of a setup and pretty simple, really, and it just really likes to trade down, but I caught it. I got out towards like the lower days for those puts were really good because I had the puts a while, and yeah, it was like 100% or 200% or something like that. And I still have some F cell, and I've got the FTCH. I've got the October 6th FTCH $2 strikes, and those are they're up 425% right now, 425%. So I was really hoping the Rite Aid would crash when I was in those puts the other week. Like those had potential with the bankruptcy news, but it looks like actually, yeah. What I do I think I put those on today. I put on Rite Aid puts because I flipped my bias again because after I took the puts off like a week ago, I thought I was gonna squeeze, and then now it's back to breakdowns. So I put on I'm looking at this here. I did put on the October 20th $5 0.50 strike because it is about to break down like to 59 cents. Like that was the lows, so it tested the lows. Like the low there was 59, so I think it's gonna push through there, and it'll be below 50 cents, I'm sure, before long. So I really like this setup now, because if it's not gonna squeeze, it's gonna crash because they're going bankrupt, and they announced bankruptcy again. I don't know how many times it is they've been bankrupt or near bankruptcy. Like I remember they were flirting with it years ago. I mean, like 15 years ago, and it's funny. Funny story. When I was one of my first jobs was at a drugstore it was basically Rite Aid. It was Eckerd Drugs in the South, and Rite Aid bought Eckerd Drugs, but Eckerd was kind of like the staple, like a big name. They're like a big footprint in the South, at least in North Carolina. So I worked there for a while. Kind of wish I'd stayed, but I left to make more money at FedEx. But I was like a package thrower when I was like 20 or 21. Worked at FedEx hub throwing packages, but the drugstore was kind of neat. Like it was kind of like they didn't pay anything, of course, but I was like 20 years old, so it didn't really matter. But that was interesting. But now hopefully this thing goes down to like 10 cents before the end of October, but we'll see. But I like that setup here as a short now. But who knows? I mean, it could bounce, but I'm not like I'm pretty undersized and everything now. Like I kind of spread out the positions with a lot of undersized positions, so I can still catch like an outlier and have it be significant. But that's the trick, is like it's really hard to get the best sizing and the best setups, but it is possible. Like sometimes there's a voice that says you should do it, but like with the banks, like that was the time to do it. but I did have when the banks were crashing, I bought like two or three of them puts. Like I got the First Republic was the best one, of course, and maybe it was Pac West was the other one I bought puts in. But like when I was thinking like, yeah, I mean, the crashes can be pretty serious, and like the fear is the biggest volatility inducer. Like, you know, like the downside moves are really, really violent and powerful, like extreme, you know, fast. So, but on the other hand, I'm thinking, you know, you gotta manage your risk. You know, you can't obviously manage risk and trade big and everything too. So, because we don't know the future, so it's like the balance. Probably the hardest thing in trading really is the position sizing into the best setups, and avoiding the bad ones isn't that hard for me because I've seen so many of them. But I have all these crazy percentage gains, but it's just getting the right ones at the right time with the right size. It's like the hardest thing really, but it's just mostly the sizing, because not really. That's like the formula that I kind of am working on. Like tracking your trades is important, but you know, allocating in the right time. And there's got to be a lot of things. It's usually when there's things that are happening at the same time. Like I was thinking today, you know, the major indices are pulling back here, and then, you know, downtrends, at least short term, and you know, the best stock setups will be the best downtrend setups, you know, most likely, except like GLBS and some of these other ones we looked at. But of course, these are just mostly smaller cap, lower price stocks at least. So I just tend to find the day range and the sort of fluid motion, if that makes sense, like of the stocks is better with it's better when there's a lot of volatility, and usually the smaller price stocks are more volatile, and I just kind of always have favored them. So that IWM, it's definitely downtrending, and the fact that we're in this range, see, from December of last year to currently, or that's the range that I'm looking at here. I'll just blow it up here so we can see it. Should be pretty obvious. So it's these big lines here. So we're back into that range. And when you look at it, it could be a double top too. Like it could be, you know, a double top. These are small caps. Like here's one possible double top area. Sometimes the more you look at charts, the more you see what's actually going on. But that's a possible top. Well, we kind of got a triple top, but the momentum just stalled. So there's the other one right there. So pretty convincingly failed that level there, and it's gonna mimic the banks basically. Like, well, it's actually different. The regionals, they had that pop at about the same time, but they've just been downtrending. So this downtrend, I kind of like to look, I usually like to look at charts with trend lines like this one too, because they're pretty good for the ups, for longs and shorts too, but these downtrend channels are good too. Like you see here, it's in a downtrend, because we got, that's like an overshoot here, but if it just keeps downtrending, you know, like I've been saying, these lower levels are in play, and even lower, because that's what the momentum's saying, and the levels, but this level's holding, but we got to see what happens there. It very well could hold because it's a pretty good level. So we've got the other one, the other positive stock from my watch list that did pretty well today was the UUU, the quad U's. I saw some news about China. Kind of perfect timing on that trend support. There was some news about China changing some restrictions on exports, and because they're always, as far as I know, China has the largest or one of the largest rare earth elements reserves in the world. So they've been playing the game, you know, political game with, you know, limiting exports and, you know, that stuff. So it's kind of good timing. That's how they always work. That's how it works sometimes. So we got a trend support that it came back into, and we got this big level from this summer, from basically the summer of 22, and it's held this channel really well, and it just popped out, and that reclaim is pretty big. So I've seen this set up a million times, and when they pop out of the channel and they flag, and then they retest really well. It's not even the trend support's just kind of like icing on the cake, because just the fact that it's holding above this former resistance level is a big shift. So that's a good long setup. If it holds green tomorrow, it's good. I debated taking it today, taking the calls, but I just wanted to see exactly what it's going to do, if it's going to bounce or not off the level. So if it goes green tomorrow, green on a day, it's a good long. But I'll do it with puts, with calls, because it has calls. Yeah, the FTCH was nice. It looks like maybe it went down into the close after close. Yeah, that's great. Great stuff. Well, it's actually, I don't think this has that's just today. But it definitely lost a lot towards the end there. I don't think I was watching that. Another one I found in my short scans was the Topgolf Callaway. I didn't realize the ticker was Callaway Brands. I haven't followed them that much. And this one's just really bearish too. It's been in a downtrend for a long time. It basically bull trapped right there. It tried to break out above that high there, and that's a bull trap. Looks like it was on earnings. Was it on earnings? Something just happened. I saw earnings, but looks like their earnings are. This one looks like a good play on earnings, because every time there's an earnings earnings report, it crashes. Like here, it reported earnings on the 20 on the back in May, and it went down from $21 to $17 or $18 the next day. And then here it reported earnings and went down from like 18 something to 16 something. So things definitely aren't going their way. And I was really tempted to get these puts today too. I think it's got liquid puts. Let me double check. There's just so many setups out there sometimes. Because I was just trying to take the best one that I had, and that was SIRI, SIRI. Yeah. Yeah, the premiums are really low too. The implied volatility is was only 37% on the 15 strike. Bro, that's October 20th. And pretty liquid. Like the 1250 strikes on the October 20th are 15 bucks a contract. It seems like pretty, well, I guess it's a low price stock, so that makes sense, I guess. Sometimes I see ones that are like 20 bucks and still like, you know, $100, $200 a contract. So, I mean, that's really, well, my thinking too was I mean, it's almost getting like oversold short term. Like after this much, it tries to bounce, and it's pretty much like it's kind of a measured move. It's kind of down the same percentage. But I imagine like the next couple months will probably be lower. And I was kind of looking at this. It's like the long-term channel. It's like right there. So it was kind of testing up against this long-term channel, downtrend channel support. But I think that probably is not going to matter. Like what matters more is the breakdown. But that's a good short setup too, MODG. And the triple Ds went down too. I was talking about that one. That's a good short setup too. I mean, it's actually like, it kind of looks manipulated on the short side. Like the short sellers are big time in control in this one. Like, I mean, the best it has is a green day that doesn't even hardly goes green. Like, it's basically down like 2 months in a row, or every day for 2 months. Wow. Yeah, that was a super good setup right here on this. It kind of triangled out right there. There's a lot of support that was holding that got taken out right there. It was a triangle. But when these really weak stocks break down, they're good setups like for days, as we saw with the JKS and all those other ones. Yeah, I kind of like the more I look at this chart now, the more I like it. Even after 4 red days or 3 red days, it's got a good chance of just having another month where it just goes straight down. And look at this. On August 1st, it opened up at $8.61 a share, and on September 1st, like a month later, it opened up at 6.36. So about $2. So kind of makes you want to get the really deep out of the money ones here. But I mean, it could get a bounce though, but I don't know. It looks like a pretty good play on the short side. Well, if there's a bounce, it's like when it bounces, it's the time to short it. So the $3, $4 strikes are pretty liquid. The $4 Octobers are like $5 to $10. The ask is $10 a contract. 55% implied volatility, and pretty good. Those look pretty good. So we could easily hit 4 or lower in a month. So, but I took the SIRI serious because it's got a nice downtrend, and it bear flagged. It's a bear flag, and then the break of that was the setup. So luckily it didn't go down too much, so I caught it pretty like around 4 something, like 410 or something. Or maybe it was like near the lows though. I think it was like 406 or something. But I got the SIRI $4 strike weeklies for next week. And the Alta did what I thought it was gonna do, or most likely thought it was gonna do. We just got a breakdown. I thought it was gonna maybe go sideways a little bit, but it's breaking down too, so that's a good short. And let's see what the XHB did, because I kind of have my eye on that one. It's crazy, I've been talking 27 minutes now, and it feels like I didn't really talk about much, but I guess I kind of rambled a little bit about like Eckerd and stuff. Well, the time just flies by when I do these things. So, yeah, it's still barely holding trend support. So I really think it's going to break it. So XHB is a good short too. And Redfin, I was talking about this one. It's a good short. And it's red today. RKT, a little bit of red day. I'm really glad I got the FTCH puts though. I got those like a while ago. So those are looking really good. And I still got until October 6th on my remaining. I sold about half of them today. But these October 6th $2 strikes are already at 425%. So maybe I can get like 800 or 1,000. That'd be pretty cool. I'm just going to hold them, I think. But we'll see what happens. If I get a really big down day, like if there's a big gap down, I'll probably take it off. But if it just keeps grinding lower, I'm just going to keep it on. So I think those are some of the things that I was thinking about that I wanted to talk about. The GLBS for sure. It's like crazy relative strength. And the cannabis ones have been good too on the short side, but they actually did try to rebound now. But I'm just gonna play these out. Like I got like a really small position in CGC puts, 50 cent. So yeah, I don't care if it bounces, but we may get some more downside. I really think it's going to be lower in the next couple weeks. So that's about all I was thinking about. But in this CHGG, yeah, this one, it's actually a channel, there's a channel going on here. So we're about to test the support, and I totally missed that one. If I had realized the channel was that obvious, I would have probably shorted it on this bear flag. But it's I think this one's going lower. I think it's got a good shot at busting through this support. I don't think there's a lot of fundamental upside here. They talked about AI disrupting their business, so I don't see. I'm not sure if that's going to get better, but they haven't had a good earnings report. So, well, actually, I'm not sure, but the reaction off the last earnings report wasn't that great because it faked out. That's the earnings there, and they had a net loss, and it just faked out totally. And it's like a bull trap now. So that's a good short too. So let's wrap it up there, and then I may do a video super late Sunday night or maybe Monday, but I'll try to put out a watch list, just tickers on my Twitter, just a list of shorts and long biases before Monday morning, because I'm probably going to tweak some things on my watch list and I like to always rank the setups from best to worst on my watch list. But right now the shorts are looking like Triple D is one of the best shorts, and well, SIRI, I've already got that one, but I mean, maybe I'll add more because it's really good too. It's just a triangle and a bear flag, and the charging stocks are still good too. Those are good watches. But I'll keep you posted, and I'll catch you later.